Hello, my name is Brandon Gray. I hope you guys are ready because I'm going to show you guys how to make some Roux-based sauces. Roux were introduced in the mid-17th century and they were used as a thickening and binding agent to classic French sauces. A roux is a combination of flour and equal part butter. Today we'll be using Miyoko's European style cultured vegan butter and then some amazing quality flour that is grown here in California from the Tehachapi Grain Project. There's 4 different types of roux. You have a white roux, you have a blonde roux, which is going to be used for a velouté. You have a brown roux, and then you even have a super dark brown roux. If we have a little bit of extra time, I'm going to show you guys a quick little pro tip that I've learned about how to achieve a quick brown roux. The first sauce that we're going to focus on today is a bechamel. I love bechamel because I love lasagna, and I think that those two are a perfect combination. The ingredients that we're going to be using for this particular recipe is equal parts butter, equal parts flour, some cream. I already got some oat milk that's warm, perfect temperature for this bechamel sauce. I'm putting about 50 grams of this vegan butter inside. As soon as this is fully melted, then I'm going to go straight into the pan with the flour. If you need to take the pan off the heat, it's perfectly fine. Again, we're looking for no color on this roux. With the vigorous stirring, I'm making sure that there's no lumps. So what you're looking for is everything to be totally incorporated, which we have right here. Now I can start adding the warm liquid to this mixture. You want to start a little bit at a time first, so here's my trusty ladle. Again, I'm stirring vigorously to make sure everything's super incorporated, and then I can just keep adding a little bit at a time. Keep stirring, guys. We don't want any lumps inside of the sauce. All right, it's getting a little bit thick, just what we want. We're gonna add a little bit, if not all, of this oat milk. And if you look at this little ingredient that I have right here, it is a halved onion along with 1 clove and a bay leaf. By adding this onion mixture to it, it's like scented with herbal notes of the bay leaf, a little bit of clove, like think Thanksgiving, and then a natural sweetness of the onion. So it's essentially just building like layers of flavor. So this is a sauce that needs to be cooked at least for about 15 minutes. What we want to do by doing that is cooking out that starchiness flavor. So this is a tip we call nappe. Nappe is if I run my finger across it and none of the liquid sort of kind of like comes between that line, we got a perfect sauce. Boom, check that out, guys. Tasting it is probably the most important key. So I'm gonna season it with a little bit of salt. Once the salt's just perfect, I'm gonna add a little bit of nutmeg, and then we can strain this mixture, and then now we have a final product. I always like to season a little bit high. Don't think like Salt Bae or anything like that. Just keep it all inside of the pot, guys. Then I'm gonna add some of the nutmeg to it. Then we're going to strain it out and then put it inside of this nice, beautiful bowl that we have right here. I don't want to press anything through this fine sieve right here because I don't want to be pressing any of like the onion inside of this. By me straining it, it's removing any clumps that I might have had from not whisking enough. But if you notice, it's coming out pretty perfectly. We know that this is a perfectly made sauce because it's velvety, it tastes great. If I were to add some cheese to it, we'd call that sauce a Mornay. Then you got like macaroni and cheese. All right, so now we're gonna transition into our second sauce of the day, which is going to be a velouté. Think same exact concept of a bechamel, but we're gonna take the roux a little bit longer in the pan, so it's gonna get like a more mahogany brown. So we're starting off with 50 grams of Miyoko's European style cultured butter. It's amazing because it has a nice viscosity, has amazing flavor, and it's better than using margarine or anything like that. You notice it's melting just like any other butter. So now that the butter is just about melted, we're gonna add in our equal part of flour to this mixture and then cook it just a little bit longer than we did the bechamel. So So we're stirring it, trying to make sure that there's no clumps in this. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit more to maybe like medium high, and then continue to keep stirring them. See, if you notice right here, this is the white roux that we would have used for the bechamel. But again, since we're going for velouté, we're just gonna cook it a little bit longer in the pan. You see it, just every 30 seconds it's sort of kind of just like changing into like another color. So just keep stirring it. We just want to avoid any lumps inside of this mixture right here. And then I'm gonna ladle in some of this vegetable stock that's been infused with some of the kombu once we get the color that we're looking for. You notice it's getting darker just by the second. We don't want it to go too dark. We're not trying to make like a brown or a super dark brown roux. So this is probably what I'm looking for right here. So I'm gonna start off with just a little bit, make sure that we knock back all of those lumps. Then I'm gonna pull the pan off the heat. Just wanna make sure that we slowly add this mixture in to avoid any lumps. As I'm adding more, the sauce is getting a little bit thicker, which is exactly what we want. But again, we wanna keep making sure that we stir it up. Once we've incorporated all of that liquid, we'll cook it down for like 15 minutes just to make sure that all the starch from the flour has been cooked out. I'm gonna turn the heat on low setting and then let that rip for about like 15 minutes. Now that we've got a nappe sauce, I wanna season it with some salt before I start straining it out. Okay, so it's nicely seasoned. Now we're going to strain it just to make sure that there's no lumps that may have accumulated at the bottom of the pan and that we've got a nice creamy velvety velouté. Just start off with a little bit at a time. Tastes like Thanksgiving. So some of the great ways that you can use a velouté are pot pies, gravies, drizzled over top of some mashed potatoes, some biscuits. Man, this is a perfect sauce for all of those things. So dark roux are commonly used in Cajun cuisine. So think gumbos, etouffees. So this is a great utilization for those type of dishes. Make sure that pan is nice and toasted before we actually add the flour. If you remember the other sauces, we put the butter in first, so we're gonna reverse it and essentially brown the flour first, then add the butter to it. And that's gonna create a sauce that's ready in a matter of minutes in comparison to a sauce that's gonna take usually 30 to 45 minutes to cook. I'm gonna first add the flour and just toast that. So I wanna put it in a nice even layer so that it cooks a little bit evenly. So at this point, you can just sort of kind of like shake the pan. And then now that the flour is inside of the pan, I'm gonna turn the heat all the way up to high. And what I'm trying to notice is you're gonna get like some smoke coming from the pan. And this is great because essentially we're expediting this brown roux. So just pay attention to that and always constantly moving it because we're trying to create an even coated flour instead of just having like little small pockets of brown. Already, you can see a little bit of the smoke from the pan. So that's the flour actually toasting right there. All right, it's almost like the color of like a light brown sugar. Now from there, I'm gonna take the pan off the heat and then add my equal parts of butter. And then from there, it's gonna go real quick. So now I'm gonna switch to using the whisk just to make sure everything's super incorporated. When you've achieved this color right here, you can then add any type of stock for whatever dish that you're about to prepare. And this is sort of kind of like what the finished product looks like. If you look at it, it almost looks like brown sugar, like a dark brown sugar. And this is exactly the point that we had needed. Super easy. I hope this tip right here you utilize whenever you're feeling like you want some Creole food. There's no way that I could end this show without having one of my favorite dishes, and that's a taste of some perfectly cooked mashed potatoes with this velouté sauce. Oh, that's good. Hope to see you guys here next time at the Vegan Butter Academy.